Imagine you're a beginner artist posting your artwork for others to see. Imagine then that suddenly a whole community of artists turn against you solely because they think your art is ugly. This then turns into full-blown bullying until you finally give up and delete your account. Well, this actually did happen in the TikTok art community, and I want to talk about it. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will be taking a look at the dark side of the TikTok art community and go over some instances of it utterly failing artists and turning into a toxic cesspool. Before we deep dive into this topic though, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Zenpop. Are you having an art block, or are you just looking for a new and exciting way to add some creativity to your life? Well, look no further than Zenpop. With monthly subscription boxes featuring unique and exciting themes, Zenpop is the perfect way to ignite your creativity and add some flair to your daily routine. Imagine opening your mailbox to find a package full of high-quality, limited edition, and Japan-exclusive stationery items. Each month, Zenpop brings you a new theme to explore and enjoy, from traditional Japan to cute puppies and everything in between. This month's theme is Golden Glitter, featuring the most dazzling, sparkly, and glittery supplies you could ever dream of. From pens to notebooks to shimmering washi tape. Washi tape, for you guys who don't know, is a Japanese paper tape that can be used for crafting, decorating, and so much more. With free shipping to the USA and product descriptions accessible in multiple languages, Zenpop is the perfect way to add convenience and excitement to your stationery collection. Defeat that art block today and sign up for free so you can get exclusive items from Japan. Use my code TUMIN to get a $10 discount. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. Visit Zenpop today and start exploring the world of Japanese stationery one fun theme at a time. Thank you again, Zenpop, for sponsoring this video. Please do not harass or bully any of the people or accounts mentioned in this video. You will most likely be annoyed or angered by some of their behaviors, but let's keep the discussion contained to this video's comment section only. Secondly, I want to clarify that the whole of TikTok's art community is definitely not bad. However, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have a bad side. I think it's incredibly important to be able to have a healthy discourse on the failings of the TikTok art community so that the incidents that took place don't repeat themselves again. Lastly, this topic will be controversial and will most likely be buried by YouTube, so please help out by simply liking this video and leaving a comment for the algorithm. Also, share this video to at least one other person or to your group chat so we can spread more awareness of this topic. Thank you in advance. Let's get started. TikTok has become a global phenomenon with over 1 billion active users and countless viral videos that have the ability to capture our attention. But beyond the dance challenges, lip syncing, and comedic skits, TikTok has also become a platform for artists to showcase their artwork and connect with a wider audience. The app's short-form video format allows artists to create and share their art in a new way, while also providing a platform for artists to promote their work. For many artists, TikTok has become a game changer thanks to its algorithm that boosts engagement, making it easier than ever to be discovered and to grow exponentially. However, with this newfound opportunity comes new challenges and downsides. Some of these include cyberbullying those with less conventional art styles, art theft, unsolicited advice, jealousy, and gatekeeping. I personally have experiences of a few of these in my time posting on TikTok. I recently went over one of these incidents on my channel, but shortly put, someone stole my artwork and then quote-unquote fixed it by whitewashing it, while actively roasting the original dark skin version. I don't want to go over it again here, so if you're curious, I linked the video discussing it in my description box down below. There was an incident of jealousy where a very talented artist posted a side-by-side of my TikTok drawing and their art while comparing the likes on them. The issue there was that my post was obviously a meme drawing that went viral, so it's not really fair to compare these artworks that are completely different in nature and then like comments that degrade my character. Ultimately, I have no power over whether my post hit the algorithm or not, so complaining that I got 3 million views while theirs didn't comes off as distasteful. Also, the person commenting that I will never understand true art. What do you mean? Look at this masterpiece. It's the most beautiful art I've ever created. Jokes aside, I think it's fair to be frustrated by the algorithm on TikTok or any social media platform. But taking another artist's post-performance online and comparing it to your own is just not right in my opinion. But let me know what y'all think of this in the comments. That isn't the end of my weird TikTok experiences though. I had someone create a sexuality in my name while claiming that I was a dog. I don't really understand what that means, and honestly, I don't even want to. But yeah, it was very confusing. Despite my wild experiences on TikTok, however, overall it has been pretty positive because I've mostly gotten good or funny interactions, but there are many who haven't been as lucky as I have. I'm sure some of you are aware of the Croaket situation that happened last year, and in case you're not, let me go over it quickly. Croaket was a beginner artist and a minor who started posting their art process videos on TikTok for fun. Since they were a beginner artist, they had a very stylized art style, where the eyes on the drawings were placed a bit higher than what some might be used to. And because of this, they ended up getting bullied off TikTok entirely. Saying that out loud sounds outrageous, but unfortunately, this really did happen. Basically, one of the speed paints where Croaket shared their rendering process went viral for all the wrong reasons, which led to an avalanche of TikTok users reposting and stitching the artwork while actively making fun of it. Rather than giving constructive criticism or helpful tips, the TikTok art community turned the situation into a dunking competition, with people flocking to mock Croaket's creations by making exaggerated versions of their artworks. You had some who shared their so-called rendering process mockingly by sharing artworks with elongated faces, and you had some going out of their way to quote-unquote fix Croaket's original artwork by making what they deemed to be corrections to the work. The situation escalated to the point where even the term rendering process was turned into an insult against beginner artists, with the intention to make fun of their works. And to this day, you get some commenting that on posts that they deem to be unappealing. Going back to Croaket though, when others voiced concern over the behaviors exhibited by most of the community, the mob went on to try and justify their actions by accusing Croaket of being a bad person who quote-unquote deserved to get bullied. They fabricated screenshots of racist statements that were allegedly made by Croaket and made up conspiracies about how them liking the Dream SMP makes them automatically racist. This newfound justification for all the prior bullying and harassment fueled the fires even more, leading people to spam Croaket's TikTok posts with negative comments, calling them racist and a bigot while mass reporting their TikTok account. In the end, Croaket's account was taken down. I'm not sure if it was due to mass reporting or if the hate just was too much to handle and they decided to leave TikTok on their own, but the damage was already done. The crazy part is that the same mob that harassed Croaket then went on to celebrate their account termination by continuing to make fun of their artwork, while calling anyone who was critical of this behavior a bigot supporter. To this day, even after digging and digging, I was unable to find any proof of Croaket being racist like the allegations claimed. Some were saying that Croaket was guilty of whitewashing a Cookie Run character. But again, they were a beginner artist and a minor who was still learning how to do art, so giving constructive criticism is way more appropriate in a case like that than dogpiling. But let's not get it twisted. This was not about whitewashing or a fight against bigotry, because the things that people were posting had nothing to do with social justice, like they were presenting it as. It just feels like people wanted to feel justified in making fun of a minor's art style without backlash or the shame that comes with punching down at a beginner artist. It's easy to say this with hindsight though, but in the end, I just hope the best for the victim in this situation, which was Croaket. They thankfully haven't given up on art despite everything they went through, and are still posting on Instagram. If you guys can, please send them some supportive and encouraging words once you finish this video. Unfortunately, this hasn't been the only case of targeted harassment and bullying of beginner artists on TikTok. It's actually more common than we would like to believe. But alas, here are some more examples of this happening. An artist called Sandy posted fan art they had created of a character from the anime Demon Slayer to their TikTok account, with the hopes of sharing their current art style with the community. Shortly after sharing it, they were bullied in the comments, with some saying, and I quote, "Help. Is this a joke? Looks like something from Meat Canyon. Rendering process. I'm hyperventilating. Oh my god, I'm actually about to start crying." end quote. Many of the mean comments got thousands of likes, and the sad thing is that the artists genuinely just wanted to share their art, only to be dragged in the comments for it. It was pretty obvious that Sandy was still a beginner artist that was experimenting with different coloring and drawing styles. So to see people being so discouraging to them was frustrating to watch. Sandy made a response video to the overwhelming amount of hate comments that they received for drawing their favorite character, urging the commenters to be kinder to other artists and let them draw the way they want without judgment. But the comments responding to Sandy's pleas were just as rude and disrespectful as that previous post. They justified their rudeness by saying that they thought Sandy's art was just satire. This is off script, but like, imagine you post a fun art in your style and people make fun of it, and then you confront them about being rude and they tell you that they thought your art was satire. Like, what? Is it just me, or is that even worse? I would have probably stopped doing art after something like that, but thankfully Sandy is stronger than I am and is still working hard on their art and posting on TikTok. If you can, go send them some positivity after this video ends, and let's be encouraging to them for a change. As a side note, isn't it wild that nobody ever questions other stylized works, like Picasso for example, for not having quote-unquote good proportions? It's because we recognize that it's done intentionally and that the artist chose to draw the way they did because they wanted to. So why is it such a hard concept for some to realize that other artists also experiment with different styles before developing or settling with a style of their own? And even if these beginner artists draw the way they do unintentionally, it's still them practicing to get better at art. So how does making fun of them ever help them improve? It would be one thing if the artist asked for constructive criticism or help on how they can improve. But if they were just posting their art for fun, nitpicking and mocking them for it will not help them in any way and will actually discourage them from art entirely. I could go on and on about how there was another artist who posted a speed paint of how they drew a Roblox commission for around $10, only for people in the comments to tell them that their art isn't worth it because they apparently are not good at drawing hands. Or how there was another innocent artist who got made fun of for being a beginner artist, but we would be here all day, so let's move on to the next part of this video, which discusses the rampant art theft issue on TikTok. While TikTok can be a great way for artists to grow their presence online, it also gives power to imposters to thrive among us. What I'm trying to say is that thanks to TikTok being a video sharing website, being an art thief can easily go under the radar due to the lengths some art thieves go to stay undetected. The art thieves of TikTok have mastered the art of deception by pretending to do a sketch of the art that they end up tracing over. This makes them look more convincing to the general TikTok audience because you can technically see the creation process of the stolen art, so it must be theirs, right? Well, no. There are countless examples of art thieves stealing from artists and blowing up on TikTok with stolen and traced art, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to keep track of them due to how TikTok operates. Once your post goes viral, it tends to reach a more mainstream audience of TikTok, and most are not artists or know about the intricacies of art theft or tracing. Many of them just happen to see cool artwork posted on their feed, and they like it and move on, sometimes dropping a follow or a comment in the process. Some of these art thieves also go the extra mile to sell brush sets or merch with the stolen art, further hurting the artists they stole from by exploiting their intellectual property for personal gain. It's really common but also hard to keep track of unless you specifically know who the artist who's being stolen from is. I do want to clarify that I don't think that all tracing is bad, especially if the person doing the tracing credits their sources and is transparent about it. The issue arises when they try to pass the traced work as their own without linking back to the original artist whose work was ripped off in the process. I have a video where I dive deeper into my thoughts on tracing in general, so if you're curious, I will link it down below for y'all to watch after this video. TikTok art thieves are becoming even more sneaky and hard to catch with the rise of AI art generators. There is a trend currently where art thieves steal an artist's drawing, put it into an AI generator app, and then post the result of the AI modified version of the stolen work, all without credit or permission from the original artist whose art was stolen. Some of these accounts really put in the effort to seem legitimate and gain a huge audience out of it, which is really unfortunate because if they put that same energy into actually improving their own art, they wouldn't have to rely on art theft and tracing to get ahead. Another form of art theft that has swept the TikTok streets is the art fixing community. Yes, I said community, because there is a growing and a very dedicated group of artists on TikTok that take pleasure in stealing specifically beginner artists' works without permission in order to quote-unquote fix them to look quote-unquote better or more anatomically correct. The crazy part is that most of the posts that these art fixers target are highly stylized works that don't follow realistic proportions anyway, so them trying to fix these works often makes them look dull and boring compared to the originals. In the Croaket situation, we had many art fixers that felt validated and uplifted because it was trendy and acceptable to fix Croaket's art without backlash, which in turn emboldened them to go after other beginner artists whose art they deem to be unappealing. I just don't understand why these people don't scroll past or ignore posts they don't like. It takes so much effort to steal someone's artwork, fix it, film yourself doing all that, then editing it, and then posting it. You're doing all that work and for what? It's truly bizarre. There are many other aspects of the TikTok art community that are just weird or simply predatory, like the whole art lore thing, the pro shipper art style accusations, and artists being shamed for their commission prices. If you guys want a part 2 to this video, which I'll probably do at some point, please let me know in the comments. In conclusion, the TikTok art community is a complex and challenging environment for artists to navigate. While TikTok has become a popular platform for artists to share their work and connect with fans, it's also important to be aware of the various challenges and issues that you might face as an artist. By promoting a culture of respect, acceptance, and accountability within the community, we can work together to create a more positive and supportive environment for artists to thrive and grow in.
It's absurd how toxic and horrible the art community has recently come, specifically on TikTok, and it's just disappointing. What happened to artists supporting artists? Rendering process, that person was like 14, 15, did nothing. That was literally the art style and got so hated on for no reason, to the point that they just, you're bullying kids for art, for expressing themselves.
Before I end the video, I want to thank my lovely patrons and channel members. Thank you to Gloria, Galaxy Brain, Noah Smashy Smash, Ash Wetchel, Nat, Jamisha Walker Tenjimo, Seiji Hito, JJ, Ghoul Ranger, Isabella, Jiraiya Sin, Mima Klon, Glitchy Garbage, Gloria, OK Ether, Puddles Megan, Saint Raya, Black Wolf 275, Harriet Rose, Lady Kimono, and a special thanks to newcomers Ivy the Weirdo 162, Brian Thomas, and Music Me 66. It's all thanks to you guys that I can keep this channel alive and going. Your support is deeply appreciated. If you as a viewer enjoyed this video and also want to support me further, consider becoming a channel member. You get cool custom emotes that I made myself that you can use in live chats when I'm doing a live stream or premiering a video. You also get a nice shout out at the end of my videos. And don't forget my undying gratitude. The link to become a member is in the description below. Thank you again Zenpop for sponsoring this video. What do you think of the TikTok art community? Do you have any personal experiences you would like to share regarding it? Have you been ever targeted by rude commenters on there? Let me know in the comments. Bye!